Welcome back to Good Day Columbia, everyone. This Mother's Day, Tina Whitlock's son will find a way to show their gratitude. Their mother balanced the last 14 years as a single parent while coaching softball. They've also seen their mom come full circle. She still holds Gamecock records to this day, but the volunteer assistant at USC isn't the same woman she was during her playing days.
I'm 9 days away from giving birth to my second child. My world's unraveling before me. I had no idea really where I was, what I was going to do.
Tina Plew married Brian Whitlock in 1996.
Everybody loves a good love story, and I can say that I have one. We started our family 3 years into our marriage, and our first son, Aaron Whitlock, was born in July of 2000. 9 days before my second son was born, I got a call from work early in the morning, and they had said I needed to come to the hospital. Unfortunately, when I had arrived at the emergency room, they had told me that he had died.
An enlarged heart took her husband's life.
Everything was tested in a matter of moments.
Tina buried her husband, then gave birth days later.
We didn't have a name picked out for a boy because we thought we were going to have a girl, even though we didn't know for sure. And it seemed fitting to name my son after his father, and so we named him Brian.
Tina stayed at home with her boys for 4 years.
I told my boys that we were going to live like the birds, and that meant that we were going to make sure that our needs were met and that the wants, they would come as needed.
That meant flying back to the Diamond.
Now, my husband had always said that we were not moving north in the Mason-Dix line or west of the Mississippi. That was he wanted to stay home, he had roots, and that was it.
But the Whitlocks packed their bags for upstate New York. Tina took an assistant softball coaching job at Le Moyne University in Syracuse.
It really was a place of healing. And the first year I was there, we went to the World Series. I had a wonderful team. They really made it quite easy.
After her stint up north, she returned to the Palmetto State as Lander University's head coach in Greenwood. 7 years later, she had the opportunity to become a Gamecock again, this time as a volunteer assistant.
It didn't have to be anything grand. I knew it was good. You know, not only was it Division I, it was SEC softball, but it was my alma mater.
The same place she met her husband.
What do you think that Brian would say about all of this?
I think he would say, stay the course. And he put a good old baby on there. Stay the course, baby.
Just a few years ago, her world turned upside down, but Tina found a way to survive.
You know, we're still getting through some of the toughest years there are. Time does heal. It does heal. You can love again, trust in love, and just participate in the life that you're given.
Now, Tina did find love again, and in Columbia. She's been in a relationship with a man named Mark for 3 years. The two actually met through Gamecock softball. Wow. Guys, coming up.
That's an incredible story.
I know. She was an incredible interview. But coming up the next hour, we'll actually hear from some of the coaches and the players around her, and they'll talk about how she's inspired them with this story, but just also how she is as a coach and as a person.
Absolutely. The way she talks about it, like so honestly, but still there's this presence of strength with her. Must have been inspiring just to talk to her.
Yeah, and she didn't shed a tear at all. Like, she was very calm and very honest, and just an incredibly strong woman. So.
Wow, good for her. Wow.
Loved that story. I'm excited to see the next part. Thanks so much, Court.
Of course.
Stay with us, you guys. We've got your headlines coming up after the break.
You're watching Good Day Columbia.
We're going to show it to you next hour in case you missed it. But let's get to the second part right now. Well, last hour we told you Tina Whitlock's story. The volunteer softball coach at South Carolina lost her husband 9 days before the birth of her second child. The former USC player juggled life as a softball coach and single parent, not realizing she's been inspiring those around her along the way.
You know, we talk about on the field that you're going to pick your fellow teammate up.
In her darkest hours, Gamecock softball shined a light for Tina Whitlock.
They came through for me when I needed them the most.
14 years ago, her husband Brian died of an enlarged heart.
The things that sometimes we complain about are so insignificant to some of the things and true life adversity that she's had to deal with.
Carolina head coach Bev Smith says her volunteer assistant sets the ultimate example for their players.
She's a great mom. She does a great job on the field, and I think it's inspiring for all the athletes that we get to work with every day.
I always looked up to her so much, being a Gamecock.
Ashley Chastain is now an assistant coach at the College of Charleston.
She taught me so much about the game. I think that she does it with grace, and she's super passionate and dedicated in what she does, and she's setting such a good example for her two boys. They're going to grow up as great young men because of her.
And Tina is helping South Carolina softball become great as well.
She brings that absolute love for the Gamecocks, and I think that just comes out in her every day.
Now that she's back at USC now, I'm so excited for her and the impact that she's having on the program.
The same impact it had on her, a sisterhood on and off the field. No matter the circumstances, life pitches you.
You know, one thing that my dad and mom always say is that you give folks their flowers when they're alive.
Right.
Meaning you tell them how good they are, you know, how an impact they've made. And I'm glad that you interviewed them because maybe she didn't know. And it's also good to see that, wow, I have made an impact.
Yeah. Especially going through what she had been through.
Right, exactly.
Right. I would say what I learned from this story and from talking with Coach Whitlock is really cherish your loved ones because her husband he looked healthy. If you look at the pictures of him, he looked in shape. He had only experienced maybe a little bit of heartburn before, so it really came out of nowhere. And from what she told me, it sounds like they had a very happy marriage, a good time together in the 5 years that they were able to be married. But it made me never want to fight with a loved one and be cautious because you never know what can happen. And I don't mean to scare the viewers at home, but just cherish your loved ones.
Absolutely,
don't take
you're right.
anything for granted.
Yeah, good stuff. You're right.
Thanks for that, Courtney. I've really enjoyed those stories. Yeah. Stay with us, you guys. We got your headlines coming up after the break.
You're watching Good Day Columbia with Friendy Clairvaux, Britt Conway, Destiny Chance, Skywatch Weather with meteorologist Lauren Oleski, and Sports with Courtney King. This is Good Day Columbia.